Warning, spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
For the Justice League. In the great hall of the Justice League.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Derek Ruby Show. I am your host, the previously mentioned Mr. Ruby, and this is my review of Justice League Dark. So the movie starts off with a woman getting hit in her car, and it appears she's being attacked by demons. So of course she drives off panicked and runs a bunch of them over. Then Wonder Woman shows up and it turns out she really didn't run over demons. She just went fucking insane and killed a whole bunch of people. But she's not the only one. The next scene shows a man about to shoot his family. Superman shows up and puts a stop to it. Then the man takes Superman to his shed and apparently he did his neighbors in. Then Batman encounters a crazy woman who's about to throw a baby off the top of a building. He tries to talk her down but she throws the baby off the building anyway. And then she commits suicide. So we convene at the Hall of Justice with all the Justice League members. And they discuss the problem and Wonder Woman brings up that they may be dealing with magic here. And Batman, as Batman always does, shows that he sees the glass half full.
We've come up against magic before, Batman. Circe, Trigon, Felix Faust.
Even Shazam's powers are based in magic. With as much as you've seen, can you rule it out?
The criminally insane don't need magic as an excuse.
And then we cut to the opening credits and you can tell by the way that they look that the animation in this movie is amazing. So we pick up with John Constantine and Jason Blood engaging in a poker game with the Demons 3. The stakes are raised so Constantine puts up the House of Mystery and the Demons 3 put up an artifact called the Dreamstone. But both parties were caught cheating and they start to battle. Constantine forces Jason Blood to summon the demon Etrigan. You might remember Etrigan from the Justice League cartoon. And a huge battle happens.
Is glass, Constantine.
And we're the lawnmower!
And this is just a small sample of what we're going to get throughout this movie. But after everything's over, Jason's really pissed off at Constantine, and he won't be the last one in this movie. But Constantine picks up the box with the obvious plot device and puts it in the House of Mystery, and we pick up with Batman and Satana, as well as Boston Brand, the Dead Man. Now I'm not going to go over these characters' origins too much, the movie does that for us. So Satana, Batman, and Dead Man all end up at Constantine's house. They are greeted by Black Orchid, the spiritual embodiment of the House of Mystery, and they discuss the people seeing visions throughout the world. Apparently Constantine and Satana have had some history. He wants her to come along with him, but she won't go without the team, and then an argument ensues.
Leave the monkeys, she said.
You are such an ass.
Oh, not the monkeys.
Says the man who has Newcastle and 100 other screw-ups on his resume costing lives and souls.
But not monkeys. You're still
It used to be a
ahead
thing.
on dead monkeys. You know, you just have to make
We're
things...
wasting time. He's dead and I accept the risks. So can we get to it?
After Batman calms everybody down, they're off to investigate. So the group go off to visit Constantine and Satana's friend Richie Simpson, so they can borrow an artifact called the Kashanti Key. As they arrive to the house, though, they see the Shrouds of Death. And the Shrouds of Death also comment how they've been waiting for Batman for a long time.
This one has cheated us many times. It is vexing.
Boo.
And Constantine gets rid of them. The Shrouds of Death were there for Richie because he has cancer. And he's apparently pissed at Constantine for abandoning him. But because he's thrilled by meeting Batman, he gives them the key and they're on their way. They go to the hospital to visit one of the guys that suffered from the hallucinations. Constantine and Satana go into his mind with the Kashanti Key while Batman stands watch. Deadman possesses a nurse, and while this is all going on, somebody is mixing magic in a toilet bowl. And soon out of nowhere, a giant monster comes out of the toilet bowl and attacks the hospital, and it is consuming people. Even Batman gets into the action. Yes, people, Batman is fighting a shit monster. They should have just called the movie that, Batman versus the fucking shit monster. I would have bought this movie a long time ago. As the shit monster is about to consume the host that Satana and Constantine are in, Constantine gets a picture of a ring and they make it out just in the nick of time and they destroy the shit monster. And don't try to tell me that it's not a shit monster because the movie doesn't back away from it at all.
Who dropped the bedpan?
Oh, the shit's really hit the fan.
You have to go there, Boston.
Justice League Dark, ladies and gentlemen, a superhero movie for kids. So they go back to Richie's house for help, and the Shrouds of Death are waiting there because Richie is dying. So they fight the Shrouds off and Batman hits Richie with an adrenaline shot. They're able to save his life and they capture Jason Blood at the scene. Then we have a flashback to when Jason Blood was injured and he was bound to Etrigan, as they were able to stop Destiny on Merlin's command. This will be an important plot point later. Richie said it wasn't Jason Blood, but it was Felix Faust that assaulted him. So Constantine once again seeks the help of somebody who's really pissed off at him, and that is Swamp Thing. And it was great to see Swamp Thing again. I haven't seen very much of him on television since his 1991 animated series, but they talk Swamp Thing into helping them find Felix Faust's fortress. Even though Swamp Thing will lead them there, he will not aid them in their cause because...
Perhaps his actions are a kind of justice. For who destroys more of the green than your kind?
Then Jason Blood summons the demon Etrigan and attacks the fortress, and it's the start of one hell of a battle. We see some action from Batman, we see action from Constantine. Faust holds his own against the entire group. But what's really crazy is when you see Zatanna go just completely insane. I've known about the character Zatanna for a long time, but man, I had no idea she was so powerful. She definitely displays in this movie that she's not the woman to fuck with.
Don't kill him.
After Constantine talks Zatanna down, they realize that Faust wasn't behind all the hallucinations. And Batman comes to the conclusion that Richie might be behind the whole thing. And sure enough, we cut back to Richie and he sends Black Orchid into the fire. And he takes the Dreamstone for himself. When the group arrives back at the House of Mystery, Richie is taking it over, but he allows them inside anyway. Basically just to gloat for the fact that he won. But then Constantine tells him,
You've been played for a sap. The stone isn't sentient. What's left of Destiny's soul was whispering sweet nothings in your ear, getting you to commit atrocities to gain power and make his move.
You're just pissed because I won.
I wish that were the case.
Richie is apparently killed as it brings Destiny back into the world. Then Destiny proceeds to destroy the House of Mystery, and Zatanna saves the entire group with a force field, but it drains all of her power. So Constantine encases her in a bubble, and they have to go and try and stop Destiny. Destiny goes on and ravages the city. Deadman tries to possess him, but he has a force field around him and there's no way he can get to him. The Justice League arrive on the scene as John Stewart tries to attack Destiny, but he's hit with the hallucination magic. When Green Lantern looks at Batman, he turns into a demon version of Batman Beyond. So of course he attacks him. So Jason Blood summons Etrigan, and he attacks Destiny, but Destiny easily holds him off, and he actually breaks the curse between Jason Blood and Etrigan. Meanwhile, Batman's able to disarm Green Lantern's ring from him, and Zatanna saves him from Wonder Woman. As Batman goes to thank her, he realizes she just saved him from Superman. Then Constantine uses his magic powers to call on Swamp Thing, and this is an epic battle between Destiny and Swamp Thing. It's quite possibly one of the best visuals in the entire movie. But before it's over, this is what happens to Swamp Thing.
Back to the dirt, where you belong.
And this is probably one of the most messed up things in the movie because nobody even seems to care that Swamp Thing probably just died. Now Constantine challenges Destiny head on. Destiny pulls him into the bubble and just goes on and on about how great he is. But surprise, surprise, Deadman comes out of Constantine and he possesses Destiny. And he's able to cause him enough trouble to break his concentration and his force field. Once he's on the ground, he's going to go for an attack, but then Jason Blood comes behind him with Etrigan's sword and hits him right in the chest and knocks the Dreamstone free. Constantine sends him back to hell and Batman blows up the Dreamstone and says,
I don't think so.
And then he turns back into Richie. Then the Shroud Spirits of Death come to take Richie away and he begs Constantine for help like a bitch.
I was under a compulsion. You gotta save me. You owe me. You owe me.
Sorry, mate. Can't take the chance that Destiny is still pulling your strings.
John, please! Help me! Help me, you bastard! Help me!
A fitting end for a cowardly villain. Unfortunately, Jason Blood dies from the wound that he suffered years ago. Now that he's been split from Etrigan, his mortal body can no longer live. So Constantine and Zatanna take him to his hometown and bury him. Etrigan says his goodbyes, and Zatanna tells Constantine that Batman and the Justice League would like them to join. At first he refuses, but then he has second thoughts and asks Zatanna if she would like to spend some time with him. Of course she agrees, so I guess she's not as mad as we all thought she was at him. And the movie ends with Deadman going into the House of Mystery to spend time with Black Orchid. And that is Justice League Dark. What do I think about it? It's a really good movie. It's visually stunning. The plot's pretty straightforward and simple, but not too simple, but it's not over the top either. The character designs are great, so is the voice acting. It's not your typical Justice League that you're used to. If anything, this movie introduces us to a lot of characters that a lot of people may not be familiar with. And it has Batman versus a fucking shit monster. But with all that said, it's still not perfect. I do find that Batman is a little bit more brooding in this movie than he usually is. A little much, even for Batman. I also wonder, what about all the people that were having the hallucinations? Are their lives just fucked because they committed crimes that they didn't know they were committing? And what about Swamp Thing? He's probably dead and nobody gives a fuck. But these things are only minor plot holes and a few nitpicks. Overall, I find this movie enjoyable and you should probably go out of your way to see it. So I'm going to give Justice League Dark 4.5 stars. Gee, if Warner Brothers would only pay attention to their animated division, maybe they can make some good cinematic movies other than just Wonder Woman. So thank you guys for listening to The Derek Ruby Show. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram. And as always, have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. They should have just called the movie that, Batman versus the fucking shit monster. I would have bought this movie a long time ago.